I would make this here.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can do. I like these like pinkish, whatever you call it, highlights or whatever. I would make this probably flow a little more, like it's going over this terrain.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was going to send you a thing. I think I forgot. If you type in volcano Iceland, there's a volcano erupting over there
Oh, wow.
in that tripped out landscape. It's kind of cool. You know, I get a little more of that in there. Does that make sense? So it feels like it's going.
Yeah.
And then maybe, what was that? Ooh, I like that. And that's not even a good example of it, but you know, I'd really make sure that it just felt like it was going over the environment.
Right.
And then I might even do, let's see if we can do this. I'm going to go, I screwed it up right there. See that little flip right there? That's no good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take this. I just screwed it up. Hang on. I'm going to fix it here. That's a little better. And again, I do a better job than that, but that's fine. And I'm going to see, I'm going to go up here to object, path, offset path. I'm going to go -2 points. Preview it. I'm going to go 3. Let's try 3. Yeah. Then I'm going to take this. I don't want that line on it. I'm going to go, oops. I'll do it one more time. And see if I can build, damn it. I want to keep it really hot, but you know, maybe build a little hotter shape inside of the shape. Vary it up a little bit. Let me see if I can go a little hotter. That's too much. You want to keep it in that pinky range you have.
Yeah.
You know, and it just give it a little bit like there's a hot core in there or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here, I'd for sure, where's this layer at? So I'm going to just, I'll half-ass this too. Hang on. I'm just going to half-ass this. So let's lock all this other stuff off. And this would have to go behind this mountain thing. I think I got to pull it up. Hang on. So I need to see a little bit of it, not that much of it, right? Yeah, this thing's being stubborn. There it goes. I want more of this color. So I'm going to go back to my orange. And I'd be doing hotter versions of what you already have, but they're on overlays and things, so it's a little tricky. And even hotter. The trick is I want to keep it hot. So that has to go a little more to this range, but you need
Mhm.
I think at the top of the thing, you need a nice hot glow, and then everything's coming off of that, right?
Yeah.
Because all the hot, magma that's where it's starting, right?
Right.
So you'd have to get it hot like this, but a little hotter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, just stuff like that. I like these.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this, like all this texture and stuff. It's fun, right?
Yeah, it was cool to do. Cool. Thank you, Mike.
Oh, and I had this when I was in Palm Springs. Check this out.
Mhm.
I stopped at this store. Cares, where is it? Here it is. This whole store, the entire store is based on Vector product.
Huh.
Right? Look.
Yeah.
Oops, hang on. I mean, you guys know how to do that. That's just like some of the filters, and then they duplicated it, and boom, right?
Yeah.
Look, piece of cake
Nice.
stuff. You know what I mean?
That's really cool. I like that.
Look, the whole store is vector art.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know how to do all that? Probably better, to be honest. That's our casita. Back here, if you look back here, I don't know why I didn't get some pictures of that, but they're just like cool vector posters of Palm Springs architecture and mid-century modern houses and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
But it just tripped me out. I'm like, holy shit, this whole store is literally, other than the few clothing things, but if you look at all the shelves are nothing but vector stuff. It's actually smart. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're going, okay, I can have a stable of like 3 people to do all this shit. You know what I mean? I would elevate it. Like, I think these are fine, but like some of the illustrations, like on the posters and stuff, they need to be elevated.
Mhm.
Just like what we're doing, they could have used a nice pass of texture or, lighting or whatever.
Right.
They were just a little too rudimentary. I think that's fine for this kind of thing or that kind of thing. Those are just simple ideas. Yeah, there you go. See how those are very simplified? This is not the right angle. That's why it looks weird.
Hmm.
There. See it?
Yeah.
So to me, these are a little too simplified. Like my brain doesn't immediately read them as Palm Springs architecture.
Mm.
Does that make sense? And maybe that's
Yeah.
just my brain. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at this, you guys. I want to go over this before Josh is out of here. And then I'll go back to the stuff. I want to go over this little blend tool thing. It lives right here. Blend tool. I don't really use it from there that much anymore. So what it does is oops. God damn it. Hang on. Let me turn this one off. Okay. So if I go, it also lives right here, object, blend. Okay. So let's start it this way. Let's go. And I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to make it a line, make it blue. I'm going to go option drag, oops, option drag, and then command D. And I'm going to go, I'll leave those that color. This will go to a green. These I'll go to a yellowish or something. I don't know. Let's go way over here and go a little more yellow. I'll make this a little more purpley. this reddish. Okay, now I could select these. I think you can do it this way and go click that one, and it connects them, okay? But it's easier just to do it this way. So I've selected all of them. I'm going to go up here to Object, Blend, Make. Hang on.
You clicked on pattern.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Object, Blend, Make. There we go. And it just pulls them all together, okay? Now, I could do, let's try this. This should work. Sometimes I just do weird stuff with this and I just try different things. Okay. Now you can do a lot of things with this line idea. A lot of really interesting things. Now, we can also go fill it. No line. Same deal. So let's go here. Go here. Let's go here. Oops, I don't want that. I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go Object, Path. Oops. Object, Blend, Make. Okay. Now, if it gives you where it's sort of not smooth like that, you got to go into here. Blend options. I've got this on this first one, orientation. I got under specified steps and I put 1,000. Okay. So if I go, let's do 10. No, it still came through. What it'll usually do is it'll like have, you'll see the individual sort of round tops and it's just not smooth. Okay. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now let's take this and go different way. Yes, I know that's horrible. My name, I get it. Josh, just bear with me here. Now, I could do exactly what I just did where I do a blend with various colors. But what I did here is I just did this one with this gradient. You see the gradient I used? So it's just a gradient from up here, you know, going dark on this side, light on this side, okay? Now this one, I'm just gonna go Option, hold Shift, pull it over here, and then I'm gonna go Object, Blend, Make. Oh, see, there it is right there, right? That's only because I put 10 steps, okay? So now if I'm gonna go back up here and go Blend Options, I'm gonna go back to 1,000. And I did it selecting the first one, okay? Go Blend, Make. Now we got that nice smooth gradient, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to take this, and let's do this first. I'm going to take this, turn this off, make a new layer. Let's put this here. Now, when you do this, you want to make a copy of it. It's weird, it eats it, okay? So I'm going to go Let's do this. And I'm gonna just give this a stroke so I can see it. And I don't like this. Or that. That's good enough. And now I'm going to select this one and this one, right? I'm going to go up to Object, Blend, Replace Spine. Right? Okay. Now, there's a million things you can do with this, obviously, but let's go here. So it gets kind of a nice 3D effect, right? But you can do it. I could take this. I want to make a copy. And I could select this, and I could go Object, Blend, Replace Spine. You know, if you actually made the effort to make decent looking type. Oh, I didn't select both. Right? And then this obviously should be in front. And then if I came back here. So obviously, if you did something where you're really controlling it a little more, hang on. It would look pretty good. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I did one today and I can't remember how I did it. Hang on. Because you can kind of endlessly go down this rabbit hole with this whole thing. And let's try this real quick. Can't remember how I did this. So let's put this. Yeah, I did one earlier today. I'll figure out how I did it, where I did a flat plane that just wrapped up on itself. And now I'm totally forgetting how I did it. But, or maybe, hang on. Maybe I did it this way. Oh, I think I did it this way. So let's just go. Yeah. So it does that kind of thing, which is kind of cool. Hang on, I don't know why I did that. Hang on. For some reason it's connecting them, but I don't know, it's kind of interesting. So you can see if you tweak around with it a little bit, you can start to sort of build, you could even build probably a topographical terrain where, you know, sort of a, whatever that is, right? It doesn't usually connect it right here, so I'm not exactly sure why it's doing that. Usually it'll just put it on here. So it sort of depends on, you know, if you're going with these sort of flat, linear things like that, then it'll apply it as a flat linear idea. Make sense?
Yeah.
And by the way, maybe I have those two objects grouped. I'm not sure if I did. I don't think I did. Hang on. No, they're not. That's weird. Oh, well, for some reason it's doing that. But you get the idea, right?
Mhm.
You can do this linear thing and you're sort of creating your stepped grading if you want to do that. So you could really kind of come in and fine tune it that way. Yeah?
Yeah.
And all you're doing is go and replace spine. And then if you need to change anything, go into your blend options, right? Yeah?
Yep.
Questions? No? Is everybody doing all right on their project?
Yeah. Just just a bit slow.
Well, I don't care about that. You know what I mean? I mean, the goal here is that I give you guys enough time to actually do a decent piece. Okay. And you're also learning this, and then you're having to come back in class and go, I didn't get this, and you know, all that stuff. That's fine. And that's why these projects are pretty big, actually. This idea, you got to get the design done, the sort of drawing done, and start figuring out your lighting, your texture, your message, all that stuff. Okay. It's not easy. Josh, that's all I wanted to go over today. So if you want to split now, you're good. I'm just going to go over the last three. And then I'm probably going to put this up as a final. Probably I'll put it up initially for Monday.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll go over it again Wednesday. See where we're at. I think we'll probably be okay for Monday. You know, and if I need to, I'll push it out, but I probably won't have to. Okay. So
Okay.
what I want to see Wednesday is obviously I want to keep seeing these pushed.
Mhm.
Okay.
I might have missed it. Did you post your fonts?
No, did I, you guys? I didn't, right?
I don't recall.
Okay. I'll put them up.
Okay.
I totally forgot about that. And the thing is with the fonts is that I think I told you I went through and I organized all of them. I got rid of all the dead fonts. So I always want to make sure I'm giving you guys the right file.
Right.
But what I need to do is eliminate the one that isn't right. I think the one I have up there is fine. I'll check it again. So yes, I'll put them up there. I'll link them. Okay. Make sure that you guys download that and then put it on a hard drive or something, an external hard drive or something, because it's going to be a huge file. But I mean, it's a lot of fonts, you know,
Yeah.
and anytime you got that many fonts, you have certain ones in there where you're like, yeah, but there's a lot of good fonts in there. I mean, I told you, a lot of those I've just bought. And then a lot of them I stole from whatever company I was working for. You know, I mean, everybody does that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Criminal.
you know what I mean?
Criminal.
Yeah, I'm a type criminal. Okay, Josh, so if you want to go, you're good.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
All right.
See you Wednesday.
Who is this? This is Victor. You here? Victor might be. What the hell's going on here? Okay, I think he had to work because we had a conversation around this. One thing here. So I'm going to try this. Let me see if I can grab this. And I am going to go. I'm going to put a mask, or I'm going to put a gradient over this. I got to see if I can remember how to do this. I'm going to go to my gradient right here. I'm going to go, I don't want it that way. Oops. Go here. I'm going to go, I want it this way. I think that's the way I want it. That will be, I think I actually want it the other way. Let's see. I think I want it that way. And I'm going to cut this. Oops. Why is that not cutting? There it goes. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to select this. I'm going to go to transparency. I don't want this on multiply. I'm going to go to normal. Then I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to 100. I'm going to put a square over this. Hopefully I remember what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So let's go here. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. Because now I can put this in here. Hang on. I think I'm on the wrong layer. I think I'm locked in. Hang on. For some reason, this is reading. Oh, it's reading. Hang on. God damn it. Hang on a sec. It's reading my layers weird. Damn it. Hang on. Okay, this is the part where I'm screwing it up. Hang on. For some reason, it's giving me this. I want to see something here. Okay, I'll have to do that on Wednesday because I haven't done it in a while. But what it's doing is it's creating a mask and it's just masking out the part of it using the gradient so I can get a reflection. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I definitely want to know how to do that because
Yeah, I hardly ever do it, so I always forget how to do it. And I think all it is that I'm stuck in. Because it's sticking on the transparency mask. Yeah, that's weird. I don't remember that at all. Yeah, I'll show it to you guys on Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, is it the same thing if, I don't know if there's another way you could do it, is just make a copy and then make it fade away with the gradient too, or is this like the way that you're doing it a different method?
Yeah,
or-
what you're doing here is you're going in here.
Mhm.
And maybe if I think about it today, if I have time, I'll just do a quick 10-minute demo and just throw it up on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back. Hang on. What it's doing is it's hanging on to which I'm not understanding. I'll figure it out. Okay, so what you're doing here is you're doing the same thing that you do when you do it in Photoshop.
Mhm.
When you make a layer mask and you go and you use a gradient and you go black to white, and I think white is obscured and black is transparent or whatever.
Mhm.
And you're just controlling that flow with your gradient tool, but you're actually making a gradient mask.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Mhm.
And I'll try and remember it today and just throw it up because it'll take me a few minutes to do it. Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyway, so then we'll get a nice fade right there, but he's not here, so I'll go over that when he's here. God, it's going to drive me crazy now. I just want to see something here. Hang on. Because now this is bugging me. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go to another one. Hang on. Okay, so you're building, yeah?
Yeah, I had to go back and rethink about how I was
what's
going to
this right
design the
here?
trees.
All
Yeah.
this in here. Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is good. I might here and there. I mean, you can do it as a stylistic thing where everything's got a fairly hard edge, but I might come in here and smooth a couple of these
Okay.
just so you got a variety of ideas there. Like even just like that's not that bad. So the thing underneath is still there. And here you could get a little bit. Now, if you're making a stylistic statement, but I'd still say from a design perspective, you want to have, you know, harder edges, softer edges, all those kind of things, right?
Mhm.
For some reason, this thing is doing weird stuff. And then are you gonna, so you're gonna come in here and kind of light this guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna put a shadow at least somewhere. I have to go and paint that and figure it out.
Depends on where the light's coming from, but. Oops. Too dark. And also this should be up heat. No, I guess it could do that. This would have to break right here.
Mm.
But you know, just a simple shadow, right?
Yeah.
And then you could go like this part right here doesn't work obviously, but and then maybe we could go. Let's try this. Come on. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to see way too big. Okay, so I'm going to try this. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to cut it. Probably even this and even this. Oops. And this. I just want that one line.
Mhm.
And I could just go in with the scissors and clip it. I just like to do everything in a more difficult way. Okay. And then maybe take this, get rid of this fill. And I'm going to see if I can, oops, if I can find one of these that I like. And I might even go, let's see. I don't like that one. That was not too bad, not too bad. That's not too bad. I'm trying to find a little bit tighter one.
Mhm.
But maybe even that. And I could go to, let's try this. I'm going to change this line to 125. Yeah. Because manually, it only go down so far,
Yeah.
right? Or auto, I mean. So now I'm going to take both of these. Wait, let's try one more. That's pretty good. You know, and it might be a different brush, but I think the gouache ones will work pretty good on this. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's just try that. Gotta make sure I don't have all these interior shape. Yeah, get rid of that. Oh, that's right. Okay. So I gotta make sure this is on top. You know, and I could break it off. And start to get a soft edge. I'd have to blend them together, but you get my point, right?
Right. Or would you use the blend tool for that you just showed us, or?
I'd probably just dial the color in.
Mhm.
And it should actually, in theory, it should be doing that anyway. So let's see. Unless this is on. Let's see. No, it's not. Yeah. So in theory, if this is, oh, it's because this color's darker.
Mm.
Okay, so that's why. So hang on a sec. Let's go. Let's pick this. And I'm going to put this in my swatches. See if I can get it to work that way. Oh, it's because this is on overlay. That's
Mhm.
why. Okay, so
Okay.
let's take this shape. And instead of putting it on overlay, let's just go. I don't want to, what do you call it on? This is why it's screwing up. So I'm just going to take this now and just go a little darker. So it's not on overlay anymore.
Okay.
And then I can go up here and now drag this in here. And then tell this, I think it's this color. That's weird. Why is it still doing that? Oh, that's why. I had both of these on overlay. So I just have to get the color to be the same. Which I'm not sure if I've got yet. That's better.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, so the reason is that I had it on overlay, so it's going to always have that transparent thing.
Hmm.
So then it's going to wash over each other like two transparent washes.
Got it.
Okay, but that'll give you a nice soft edge. Now the other way you could do it is sometimes you know, you might just take the line or you might just make the line a little bit broken, or you know, I just had to do it this way to contain it into your shape. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and then also think about it when you start really getting this all lit up, like here, maybe, you know, is there an opportunity for me to go? So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to clip this. And I'm going to say let's say from here to here. And again, can I get this color? I put it in my swatches just because when you want to do a fill, it's just easier to have it here, or not a fill, a line.
Yeah.
That way I know it's the exact color and I don't have to go dial it in or anything. You know, can I get some reflected light here?
Hmm.
And there's a million ways to do this. Hang on, let's get this. Damn it. This is why I don't like smart guides on all the time, because they drive me crazy. And they're still on. You know, and then maybe, God, that smart guides drives me crazy. Yeah, maybe I just pull this back a little bit. Or, you know, I could have a little reflected kind of shadow coming up through here. I could put probably a little bit of it right here. Maybe. Just because it's a down facing plane, right?
Yeah.
And obviously you're heightening it a little bit, which is fine. I like them to have a little bit of a taper. Man, nothing on my machine is cooperating today. There. That's a little too thin, but that's okay. You know, and you can see it starts to give it a little bit of a pop, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to look at the different ways I can do it. You know, again, it might not be a line. It might be a little bit of a gradient. That's a reflected light coming up underneath it or on top of it or anything like that. But you got this big blast right here. So to me, it's like, okay, I got an opportunity to do something cool there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me see one more thing. Then I'll shut up. Let's go. Let's take this color. We already have it actually. So let's just go swatch, gradient. Maybe I'll do it from the bottom. I'm on the line for some reason. I'll do this up here. Swatches, gradient. And I'm going to go, I don't know, maybe this way a little bit. Let's just see how that looks. Let's just go to white with this one.
Every time I use that gradient tool, it still gives me white, even though I put opacity at 0.
It shouldn't.
It's doing it.
On Wednesday, let's go over that.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure to remind me, because I want to go
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that. Something, it's probably just some simple little thing. You know, maybe I could do a roll off from the bottom up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see it.
And then maybe I'll pull this down even more because I don't want that much of it. Maybe this one I'll take down to 50%. Yeah, that's kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
You know, just little things like that I'm just trying to give it some really nice lighting. I think that's what that Brian Edward Miller guy does, is that he's bringing into the idea of vector graphics sort of vibey lighting and sort of naturally looking lighting, which you don't see that much in vector graphics. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And again, I think to me, now there might be, you know, usually whenever I find somebody like that, you find somebody who's sort of the headwaters, like he's the big guy at it or what, and I think he is, but then you'll find 20 people who work sort of like that. Mm-hmm. You know, and you go, oh, okay, there's sort of a thing there, but like he, you know, whoever came up with that first, I call it's a freebie. You know what I mean? You're going, why hasn't anybody like done these bitchin' organic-y, beautifully lit things in Illustrator? Because they didn't, they probably don't have the knowledge. That's a big part of it. B, they just didn't think of it. And C, they go, oh, well, you don't do that in Illustrator. It's like, yeah, you do. You know what I mean? So he's kept it very readable, very vector and all that sort of stuff, but he's added this other layer of sort of natural lighting and things to it and super enhanced lighting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are you going to handle this? Okay, so this right here, this big thing here. Now another thing, so this is going to get a lot of texture, yeah?
Yeah.
And then like here's another one where you might go, I don't know what layer this is. Or I might just go, let's see if we can do this again. I'm just trying to find places where I can, it's hard and soft edges and things like that, just like painting, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Or maybe this one's not gouache. Maybe this one is this. No, it's not this. Maybe it's just that. See how that edge got a little softer?
Mhm.
And then if I go a little bigger,
Okay.
that's just a little nicer than having everything be a hard edge.
Mhm. Okay.
Same thing here. Then maybe I'll find a different brush for this one. So it's a little different.
More painterly.
Yeah, it just gives it that nice little edge. There's one in here I always like. Hang on, let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, I don't like that one. That one's not bad. Yeah, it gets that little bit of a gouache edge. I always like this one. Where is it? Oh, that's shader brush. Where is the brushes? This chalk one's kind of nice. Just whatever works. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here, I like this blue. That's a nice blue. And I know sometimes I'm jumping ahead that you're like, yeah, I haven't got to that part yet. But let's go back to here. Let's go to here. Let's go to here. Let's go to here. And this can become that. That was your blue, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then down here, maybe I tie this back in. And just dial in a nice warmed up down towards the bottom.
Mhm.
It might be like one or two steps. You might have to add like one here in between.
Right.
And see if you can find something in between that works really nice. But it's just nice to warm it up down towards that horizon.
Yeah, I was planning to put something, but wasn't sure yet.
Yeah, there's a million things you can do. Look at make sure you're looking at and then down here, this is a really important edge right here. So for sure this one, I would break that up because that's the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's too much because it's further away. So yeah, like that, that's fine.
Okay.
Just so you're going, okay, that's dirt. And look, we're not trying to make a totally naturalistic painting, but still you kind of go, that's a soft, organic edge, that's going to hit there. Right.
Yeah.
And then what about, this is kind of cool. Is there a little gradient on this? Yeah.
On the mountain? Yeah.
I like this down here, the way it goes from this up to this.
Mhm.
The only thing I'd say though is maybe that might go a little warmer down here, but it actually looks really cool. So I don't know if I'd screw with it. What else?
The reflection, but we'll probably go over that later.
Yeah, I'll go over that.
I don't know how much.
I'll go over that no matter what by Wednesday.
Yeah. I don't know how much I'm gonna it's gonna fill that lake because it is such a big Cliff,
You can totally tweak that.
okay.
Um,
Because I didn't want to like cover the whole thing. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
man.
here's the thing you got to be careful of, because a lot of people will go, you put a reflection or whatever
Mhm.
into something, they go, oh, well, if you're doing perspective, and they break out the ruler and all this shit. And it's like, dude, it looks cool and it looks believable. So like, shut up with the perspective. You know, there's a time for that and there's a time not for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a time where you have to make design decisions and it's going to look basically right, because most people are looking at it, just goes, oh, it's reflecting in the water. They're not going to go, wait a minute, that's going to do that. You know, nobody does that. Okay. Now, if it's wildly off and it doesn't look believable, that's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd argue you do need to know your perspective and all that stuff to make those decisions. I mean, there's a lot of times, you know, I tweak stuff a little bit and I'll go, that's slightly out of perspective, but it looks cool. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or sometimes if you look at Mary Blair's work, it's wildly out of perspective on purpose.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a design choice. You know what I mean? The only thing I'd say is never be in between. Never be somewhere where you're kind of, where people are going, is that where it's reading as being off?
Mhm.
Okay. You can do the same thing with stylization, where you're stylizing there was a guy that was on the advisory panel when I was on it before I started teaching at Fullerton.
Mhm.
And somehow he was working for Imagineering. The guy sucked. Okay. Because I looked him up. He's terrible. And his brother is on, like, he's a professional ball player for, I don't know who, the Dodgers, Angels or something. So they did this piece on how these two brothers were doing these things, which is cool. And he's sitting there drawing his brother, like while he's playing or something. I can't remember. It was such a bad drawing. Okay. And part of what was bad about it, and I see this a lot actually, where it's sort of, usually it's a little bit anime, but sometimes it's a little bit Disney or whatever, but not really. And then it's sort of trying to be realistic. So I'm going like, what is that? Is it stylized? Is it crappy drawing? And the answer was, it was crappy drawing. And that drives me crazy when stuff sits in that, where you're like, can you not see how bad that is? Like, either push the stylization or go with a more realistic approach. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
And you can have a I do this all the time, sort of a realistically, I'm always thinking about anatomy and stuff, not like consciously, but like pulling in little elements of anatomy and stuff to sort of structure my drawing, even though I'm pushing it really far. Right.
Mhm.
But you
Mhm.
never want to be in between stylistically. You don't want people looking at it going, is that stylized or is that just a bad drawing? And if you're asking yourself that, it's a bad drawing.
Mhm.
Right. It's a bad design. It's really a design thing. Okay. So and in this, obviously you've totally pushed it. So this is clear that, you know, this is a stylized idea, but it's something that you really got to think about, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense.
But this is going to be cool. Yeah.
I'm hoping. That's what I'm going for.
Oh, no, it'll be cool. Okay. I'll just go over the reflection thing on Wednesday. That way I can do it in real time and talk to you guys about it.
Okay. Thank you.
It's just I hardly ever use that. So. Whoa, this is the one. Where are you at now?
I'm lining the trees and stuff now.
Oh, this is now all vector, this stuff here?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Super cool.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice, dude.
Thanks.
And what do you do for them?
I was the graphic designer.
Oh, yeah. Bring this shit in. Have you ever brought this kind of stuff into them?
Well, I just showed him like kind of like the start of it last year, 2 years ago, or whenever I was working with them, but I never showed them like the progress.
Yeah, you got to finish this thing out. This is a portfolio piece. Yeah?
Yep.
And again, I probably said this, but man, if I'm hiring graphic designers, and I have, I probably said this, but I'm going to say it again. There's people who would come in, and this is where graphic designers think themselves. They come in, I know I've said this, but I'm going to say it anyway. And they go, and I'm liking their design work and all that. And I'm just leaning towards like, okay, I want to put them in my top 4, 5, whatever. And then they go, and then there's a section in the portfolio where they say illustration. And it's like drawings from basic drawing, or really bad attempts at illustration, or crappy drawings, usually from basic drawing and stuff. And I'm looking at it going, why would you put drawings from basic design or basic drawing in your portfolio? Number one. Number two, you're telling me you don't even know what illustration is. Okay. Because this is an illustration. So there's a whole bunch of problems there. It's not just that it's bad drawing, because I'm not really hiring them to be an illustrator. But now you put illustration on the table and it makes me go, oh, you don't know what illustration is. And then that makes my brain go to the next step and go, you don't understand design very well, because in the context of this discussion, illustration is falling into the design category, which tells me you're not a very sophisticated design thinker. You're out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, if somebody comes in and they've got great graphic design, type, all that stuff, and then they also have a great, like this, a really cool illustration poster or whatever, I'm like, that's going in my top 5, because then I'm getting 2 for 1. Because now I can go, this is going to take some of the stuff off my plate that I don't have to do, or I don't have to have so-and-so do, or because I might, you know, like in a Disney situation, I had, I don't know, 2 graphic designers. Then I've got character designers, sculptors, and then, you know, product designers and all that stuff, right? But then I go, well, if I have somebody who can do this, I'm hiring a graphic designer. Well, shit, man, I can have them do some of this stuff that I usually have to tie up a character designer or one of my design people with this task. I don't want them doing that task. Now I can throw it over to them and they can handle that. And it frees up my team a little bit. So it really, to me, if you're showing you can do graphic illustration, things like that, that's really helpful. You know, not to mention something like this, like you got to pick some really bitchin' type for this.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things I would look at, what's this design style that this is? Do you know? Spanish?
I think in Spanish, yeah, something like
I
that.
would look that up, and it might, you know, because Fullerton, you know, they have all that arts and crafts bungalow style all over the place. I find out something about this building because it might help me with the type. And it doesn't mean you have to be all historically accurate, but there's, and I'm trying to remember what these are, but there's certain, I know we talked about it a little bit. There's certain posters and things that were done in that sort of arts and crafts style and stuff like that, that this feels like to me.
Okay.
And somebody could go, well, this is Spanish architecture and you use this type. It's like, yeah, but this is more about Fullerton as an idea. This is more about the area as an idea. The area has this vibe from a type perspective. You know what I mean? So it doesn't always just have to be, I believe in research, like very heavy research, but I also believe that you got to not just be a slave to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So nice type treatment. You know what I mean? Okay, man. And then it's going to get, I'm assuming, it's going to get pretty, maybe vertical this way. You know, and then you got type and maybe type up here and maybe a border, you know, whatever you're going to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's these arts and crafts ones, and I got to find some of them. If I do, I'll post them up.
Okay. Yeah.
That just have this flavor a little bit, you know, and maybe you can adapt it, or maybe you don't like it at all. Who knows? But I'll try and find some of them.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of that, I don't know, I'll find them. I don't know exactly what the time period is. It seems to me like it's arts and crafts or, yeah, arts and crafts. Yeah, this looks really good. I like these little light shapes, and then they feel like there's something back there, like another window, and it's coming through that window.
Yeah.
Which just makes it interesting. Yeah, man. All right. You don't have any questions?
Not right now.
Okay, good. You got a handle on how you're going to handle this foliage?
Yeah, I'm just gonna outline and then I'm gonna add textures after
You
I
know what?
finish the outlining. I'm gonna add textures after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get some really nice texture out here.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, and a little in here, maybe not too much, and then maybe the texture is all about the foliage and the ground and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some nice, would be nice too, is if you could get some dapple light or something like that. Maybe just on a
Oh, yeah.
tree or something, you know?
Okay.
Because it's just, there's something about this kind of building that, and I noticed this at Hillcrest Park, like there's a time, you know, I guess it's late in the day, where it gets really warm on one side of everything and it throws all that dappled light on the ground where it's like the ground's kind of cool, but it's got these little pops of warm light. And that's just like a beautiful lighting thing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you're a graphic design major, yeah?
Yeah.
And then I think we talked about this. Are you going to go back working for them again?
I'm not sure when I finished kind of like most of my portfolio, I'll contact them, but I'll also start looking for like other places
Yeah,
just in case.
What do you want to do specifically? Do you know?
I'm not really sure. Just something in graphic design.
Okay.
Because I do a lot of I do like I've done like packaging or like publication stuff, and I've done like all sorts of stuff, and like I don't know.
There's a lot of money in and I know it's not just money, but corporate design. Like I had an intern and he loved corporate design, right? I got him when he was 19, which is crazy, right? And we've been really close friends ever since. So now he's like 29, I think, which is super crazy. But he had no experience when he came to me. I thought he had a lot of balls, and I thought he had, you know, he presented himself well. And he had some okay things in his portfolio, you know, and I go, that's cool. This kid came in anyway. So I hired him. And then, you know, and I go, look, you're an art center guy. And he's like, that's where I always wanted to go. And I go, okay, well, then anyway, he went down this other path and everything, but then he ended up at art center and then he graduated arts and then excelled there. And now, and then he went to Berlin, worked in Berlin. Then he came back here. And now he's working for Apple. Right.
Yeah.
So sort of, but he liked corporate design. You know what I mean? And I go, man, that's lucky that you just happen to like that, because there's a lot of money in it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he's making good money at Apple, really good money. He's working for Apple Music. But he, you know, and his, it's interesting because graphic design doesn't mean what it used to mean, which is mostly print, it was logos. It doesn't mean that anymore. Like he got super into like, he was doing short films, he was doing motions graphic. You know, you got to know motion graphics, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you pursuing that?
I did kind of like make a piece for that, like a personal project thing, and then it was part of my kind of like in the history of graphic design class, we had like a project where we did voting, or like get out the vote packaging, and then I added the animation stuff on After Effects for my own project.
So are you comfortable in After Effects?
I've been studying it on my own.
Yeah,
like
After
for a
Effects,
couple
if you
of
know
months.
Photoshop, from what I understand, is a pretty easy transition.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
same thing with Premiere. I would
Yeah,
say
if you-
learn Premiere and After Effects for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I see, because I still get tons of hits from agents and all that stuff. And for whatever reason, sometimes they'll throw stuff at me that's just not really what I do. And I see tons of stuff for motion graphics.
Yeah. If you want to look at I did post it up online if you want to like check it out some other time.
Okay.
Like the animation stuff.
Yeah. But make sure you're really getting good at that.
Okay. Yeah.
If you ask me, if you're an illustrator or graphic designer, I think you got to know that stuff, or even concept designer, because you know that stuff's going to flow into like doing animatics and things like that. So it's just the skill set keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger for all these different fields. Whether it's you want to do concept design, that's a huge skill set now. It's not just drawing and painting; it's drawing, painting, 3D, all the stuff that goes around 3D, maybe some motion stuff. You know, it's a big lot of stuff to know. And with graphic designers, and make sure you're looking at, I don't know who you like, but make sure you're looking at really, really high level graphic designers. You know what I mean? The Paula Scherers, the Sagmeister, who does all kinds of interesting contemporary stuff. You know, all these people that are really broadening what the idea of that is. You know what I mean? Because graphic design is super interesting. When you get it up into really high levels, it's super interesting. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the low level shit, but the low level nothing is interesting. Okay. Go. Yeah?
Yeah.
That looks great. And there's my stupid Tubi. My M's not that bad, but this is pretty bad. Okay. Any questions on any of this? Everybody knows what they're doing?
Yep.
Okay, you guys, push this as far as you can on Wednesday. I'm not going to put up the end date. I want to see where we're at on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to polish these. Some of these are like that one, Kayla's, you know, they're looking really good. So I want to make sure that you guys have time to really polish them. Okay.
Mhm.
And I think I already have.
Random question, Mike.
Yeah.
Are you going to be teaching the Photoshop class in the summer?
Yes.
Okay. Just wondering.
Well, now you don't have to wonder. Yes,
Which
I am.
Photoshop,
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna. And I
which
don't know
class
if
is
that. Go ahead.
Which class is the Photoshop one? Which number?
It's Photoshop 101.
Okay.
And what it's for, it's not a typical Photoshop class. It's for digital artists.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going into a lot deeper than I could just in a regular Photoshop class.
Mhm.
And I think it's really valuable I have 2 architects. I have somebody in computer science. I have somebody in, and then I have a lot of graphic designers, illustrators, entertainment people, all that stuff. And I try and work it. So like right now we're sort of doing a Grisaille technique painting thing. And I set that up. So if you're not, if you're a graphic designer and I'm not a painter or whatever, that you can learn. And I kind of try and take it into like, here's the way you could use it in graphic design. Here's the way you could use it in painting. Here's the way you could use it in conceptual art, whatever. Right. So it's not, I don't want people getting scared off going, oh, I have to have super draftsmanship skills, or I got to know how to paint. It's like, no, I'm introducing you to all that. And then I'm also showing you how this technique could work we just did it this morning, how this technique could work really well for a graphic design project. Here's how it would work for a painting project. Here it was, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yep.
But it gives us a chance to, because I've taught Dart 100 before, which is Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. But I can only sort of touch on Photoshop up to a point, and Illustrator and InDesign, so this lets me deep dive into Photoshop, which I think is really fun. I think it's a really good class, and it works really well online. So I'm going to try and I got to check it in curriculum and see if it was set up as a hybrid class. It probably was. And I think from now on, I'll teach it online in the summer. It'll probably be the only online class I do.
Okay.
And it'd be nice to do it in the summer, because during the summer, I'm only teaching one class usually, and I'm staying down the hill from my class for 4 days out of the week. Whereas it'd be nice in the summer just to go, because it translates online really well,
Mhm.
because I can sort of work with you the same way in a digital environment. It just gets a little different when I'm painting traditionally or drawing traditionally or whatever. But even that works. Anyway, that's another discussion. Kayla, what?
No, just don't want to have you go on another rant or something.
No rants.
No rants.
No, I'm in a good mood. Yeah. I got 2 Giclée prints that I had printed. They're ready for pickup, so I'm gonna go pick them up tomorrow.
Sweet.
Yeah. I reconnected with this place called Artworks that I used to work with when they were in Pasadena.
Mhm.
Like 20 years I used to use them. They shot all my work. But now they moved to LA, and then I just sort of lost track of them. But then I realized like a photographer friend of mine was using it, like 2 photographer friends of mine were using it. I'm like, oh, fuck, I forgot all about Artworks. And then I need to get this thing printed, like get a really good print of it. And they do Giclées and all that. And it's actually pretty reasonable. I think they're about 30 a pop for these 2. And I'm doing them on 100% rag watercolor paper.
Mhm.
And then just rag regular paper. I had them do it on both so I could see which one I like better.
Right.
And then one of them I'm sending off to the person that's getting the print, and then blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Cute.
So anyway, if you're going to do that kind of thing, make sure you research and find a service bureau that does a really good job with that. Okay.
Mhm.
And my experience with them is especially looking at all my friends' work. It's not just there's a lot of people I know use them, and their work is just really high quality. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm gonna let you go. Rambled
Alrighty.
enough. Wednesday, I will go over, Kayla, that thing that you said.
Yeah, the reflection. Yeah.
Yeah, the reflection, but there was another one. You said it was doing something.
Oh, the gradient tool is acting up a little bit.
Yeah, okay. And we'll figure that out. And then,
Text. I think you need to put the text brushes.
and I'll
or
put the text up.
fonts.
I'll put fonts.
Fonts there.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, you guys. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Nice work, by the way.
Thank you. Bye.